Hello students, welcome to your physics class again. So this is the second part of the previous chapter, force and laws of motion. So I request you, if you have not watched the previous part, that means part 1 of the chapter, so click on the I button and you get the link. So if you have watched the previous video, so let's start our today's lesson. Previous day I discussed about the force, different types of force, balanced and unbalanced, Newton's law, first law of motion, inertia and momentum. Today we are going to discuss about Newton's second law. So are you excited? Let's see what is the Newton's second law. Now students, this is the Newton's second law. It says that the rate of change of momentum is directly proportional to the force acting on that body, and the change takes place in the direction in which the force acts. That means, let's understand this, what the Newton's second law actually wants to say. So the rate of change of momentum. Now if we know that momentum means mass into velocity. Now mass cannot be changed because mass is constant, but velocity can be changed. So say that the rate of change, that means P final minus P initial. Now P is actually momentum. Okay. Now P final minus P initial is the change of momentum, and the rate of change is, if we divide it by time, then we can get the change of momentum. So it is actually proportional to that of force acting on it, and the direction will be same as the force direction. So now P means m into v. Now here final means m is m, P is m into, now this is final velocity, so v, and this is initial velocity, so m into u, and this is time, right? Now we can write this right. So this term is change in velocity with respect to time. So this is called the acceleration. So we can write m into a, and this is proportional. So if we write equals sign, so here we have to put the proportionality constant into ma, right? Now if we take that k equals to 1, then force equals to m into a. This is the mathematical form of Newton's second law. Okay, F equals to ma, that means force equals to mass into acceleration. This is the mathematical form of Newton's second law. So what are the, actually let's see an example of Newton's second law. Now friends, from the Newton's second law we know that force equals to mass into acceleration. Now acceleration can be written like this, that means force equals to mass into change in velocity with respect to time. Here you can see that force is inversely proportional to the time. So let's say an example by which you can understand this. Suppose in a cricket match you could see that whenever a cricket player catch a ball, he just moves his hand to the backward direction. Why? Because in this movement the time increases, that's why the force decreases. So if he fixed his hand into that position whenever he takes catch, the time is very short, and due to which he exerted more force to that of ball, then he get hurt. So that is the reason when he takes the catch, he just moves his hand backward direction, or pulls his hand to the backward direction. So let's see another example. Suppose you jump from a height to the ground. So at that moment when you jump, at the moment when you reach the ground, so the time is very short here, so you exerted more force to that of ground. So that is the main reason for you get hurt from when you jump over a ground from a height. Now friends, we are going to prove the first law, Newton's first law, using the Newton's second law. This is pretty interesting. You could you know that from the Newton's second law we can write force equals to mass into acceleration. So mass equals to v minus u by t. So from that you can write F into t equals to mass into final velocity minus mass into initial velocity. And this expression, if F equals to 0, what will happen? Let's see. If F equals to 0, then this term will be 0, and bring this term into that direction. So you can find V equals to U. This is the first law of Newton's. So Newton's first law says that if there is no force, that means the object which is at rest will remain at rest, and the object which is in motion, it will move in a straight line with the same velocity. This is the Newton's first law. So if the force is 0, if the applied force is 0, so the final velocity is same as the initial velocity. That means if initially the object is at rest, so the final value of the velocity will be 0, and if there is some velocity, that means if the object is moving from one point to another point, that means initially it has some velocity, finally the velocity will be same. So this is the Newton's first law. Let us discuss about a type of force that is called impulsive force. What is impulsive force? Impulsive force means the effect of force and time together. This is called impulsive force. This F and T, this term is called impulsive force. Okay, the unit of this term is, what is the unit of force? What is the unit of force? Force unit is Newton, right? And the unit of time is second. So the unit of impulsive force will be Newton into second, right? And there is another unit of force. From this equation we can get another unit of force. So force equals to mass into acceleration. Now you know that mass in SI, unit of mass is kg, right? And the unit of acceleration is meter per second square, right? So the unit of force will be kg into meter per second square, or we can write like this: kg into meter into second to the power minus 2. Okay, as this term is inversely, so we can write like this also. So in this equation, if we just calculate the unit of impulsive force, so we have to multiply this term with a second, right? For this term we just put here a second. So what we get? Kg meter per second. This is also the unit of impulsive force, and the unit of force is this. And so this Newton and this term is same. Okay, that means Newton means kg meter per second square. This is the relation between Newton and kg meter per second square. Now we are going to discuss about the Newton's third law. So students, this is the Newton's third law of motion. It says every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. So this is very famous law in motion. This law is not this every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. This term is not only the famous in physics, it is famous in our life also. So this is the very important law of physics. Every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. So it says that if an object hit with a force, suppose this is object A, Fa, the force is Fa here, and the another object which is B, if a object A applies some force to the object B, and if the force is Fa, so B is also exerted some force to that of A with same value and negative sign. That means opposite. Okay, that means the mathematical term is Fa is equals to minus of Fb. These values are same but the sign is negative. It indicates that the values are same but the direction are opposite. So as this is a vector quantity, so we just put here some arrows over it. So this is the Newton's third law. Okay, let's see an example by which you can understand better. Okay, suppose you throw a ball, cricket ball, towards a wall. So if you throw very hard, the ball will returns back, right, with a very high velocity, right? And if you throw the ball with a small force, that means if you throw the ball slowly, the ball will returns back very slowly, right? The velocity is very less. That indicates that that amount of pressure which you applied for that ball to throw the ball towards the wall is also exerted some force towards opposite direction, and the value will be same. If you throw hard, the wall also exerted the same amount of force, so that the ball returns back with a very fast. And if you throw the ball slowly, then the ball comes slowly. That means the amount of force for you and for the wall is same, but the direction is opposite. You applied force in this direction and the wall applied force in this direction. Okay, this is the Newton's third law. Now you can understand what is the meaning of that term, that is every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. For a joke, if you hit someone, he will hit you. Now students, we are going to learn about the laws of conservation of momentum. Let's see what it says. So it says the total momentum of a system of objects remain conserved before and after collision when there is no external unbalanced force. If there is no external unbalanced force, the total momentum initially is same as the final. The initial momentum is same as the final momentum of a system if there is no external unbalanced force. Let us prove it. Let us see an example by which you can understand. So this is two object A and object B. This is moving with the initial velocity u1 and u2, and the mass of that object is m1 and m2 respectively. And after some time they will collide, and after some time they will moving with a velocity v1 and v2, and the mass will remain same because mass is a constant. So what is the force? What is the value of force which is applied by the object A to the B? This is force AB. We can write from the Newton's second law, m1 v1 minus u1 by t, right? And what is the force? What is the force applied by the object B to the object A? That is force BA, and that will be m2 v2 minus u2 by t, right? See, the final velocity of object A is v1 and the initial velocity is u1. So v1 minus u1 by t, and here also v2 minus u2 by t. v2 is the final velocity of object B, and u2 is the initial velocity of the object B. Now this is the force applied by A, and this is the force applied by B. So from the Newton's third law we can write that FAB is equal and opposite of FBA, right? So from that equation we can write m1 v1 minus u1 by t equals to negative m2 v2 minus u2 by t. Understand? Now if you now see the t's are cancel out, so we get m1 v1 minus m1 u1 equals to minus m2 v2 plus m2 u2. So from this equation we can write m1 v1 m2 v2 equals to m1 u1 plus m2 u2. So this is the final momentum of object A. This is the final momentum of object B. This is the initial momentum of object A, and this is the initial momentum of object B. So we can write like this. If P represents the momentum, so PA, see, this is the momentum of object A, this is the momentum of object B, equals to the momentum of object A and momentum of object B. This is the V, so that means this is the final and that is the initial. So the total, this is the total momentum of this system, and this is the final momentum of this system. So P final of this total system, we can write that P initial of the total system. Here you can see for the total system, final momentum is equal to the initial momentum. That means if there is no external force, the momentum initially and finally is conserved. This is the laws of conservation of momentum. So students, let's see an example by which you can understand the laws of conservation of momentum. Suppose you have a rubber balloon, and if you blow air into it, so it get inflated. So the inflated balloon, if we release the air, so what will happen? It will move the direction towards the direction opposite to that of the flow of air. So if you release the air from the balloon, so the direction of the flow of air is in this direction. So the balloon wants to go into that direction. So the total system, the momentum of the total system is conserved here, right? Let's see how a balloon acts when we just release the air. Now students, we are doing the same experiment with a balloon. So this is the balloon. I have cut a pipe and fix it with the end portion of the balloon. Let's blow it. Now friends, see, this is a balloon, and I have tied this balloon with a string, okay, and a pipe. I have used a pipe, and here also I have used a pipe. So when I release the balloon from the end portion, the balloon will move this direction because the flow of the air will that direction. So the balloon will move from this side to this side. So let's see what will happen. So first we just take this balloon here, and now we are going to release it. See, this balloon goes from that side to that side. So this is the experiment. So students, thank you for watching this video. So we have finished our chapter, and from the next day we will start solving the numericals. We start solving the numericals, and I will give you some numericals and you have to do it. And I also, if you do not get the solutions, so I also do the problems. Thank you.